The air, thick and humid, hangs heavy in the cypress grove. You are low to the ground, hidden among the ferns, your world a tapestry of buzzing insects and the musky scent of decay. In the distance, a flock of duck-billed dinosaurs calls out, their honks echoing over the sluggish river. But then, a new sound cuts through the familiar drone. A deep, rhythmic thump, thump, thump. It's a sound you feel in your bones before you hear it with your ears. The water in the shallow pools around you trembles with each impact. Something immense is coming. You freeze, every instinct screaming for silence. A shadow eclipses the dappled sunlight. It's not the fleeting darkness of a passing pterosaur. This is vast, a moving eclipse that blots out the sky. You risk a glance upwards, past the towering fronds, and see it. Or rather, a part of it. An arm? An arm longer than any predator you have ever seen, covered in a coarse shag of primitive feathers. It ends in a hand with 3 fingers, each tipped with a curving claw as long as your entire body. A second arm, its twin, moves with terrifying grace, sweeping through the air before plunging into the murky water below. You see the muscles bunch and strain, a display of effortless power. But you see no head, no teeth, no eyes. You only see these colossal, terrible hands, acting with a purpose you cannot comprehend. The ground shudders under a weight you can't possibly imagine. That feeling of awe and terror, of seeing a fragment of something so immense it defies logic, is exactly what a team of paleontologists felt 70 million years later. The year is 1965. The place? The wind-swept expanse of the Gobi Desert in Mongolia. They are brushing away layers of ancient sandstone when they uncover a bone, then another, and another. It's not a skull or a massive leg bone as they might expect. It's a pair of arms, perfectly preserved, lying in the rock as if their owner had just laid down for a rest. But their scale is impossible. They measure nearly 8 feet long. The shoulder girdle they're attached to is massive. The hands, with their 3 menacing claws, are the stuff of nightmares. They have discovered the arms of a giant, but the rest of the animal is gone. It has simply vanished, leaving behind the most tantalizing and terrifying fossil fragment in history. For the scientists standing under the Mongolian sun, it's a moment of both triumph and profound frustration. They have found something new, something monumental. But it's a riddle written in bone. With nothing else to go on, they give the unseen creature a name that perfectly honors the mystery. Deinocheirus mirificus. From the Greek, it translates to unusual, horrible hand. It is a name born of awe and a touch of fear. And for nearly half a century, that's all Deinocheirus is. A name and a pair of phantom limbs. The trail immediately goes cold. Expeditions return to the site, scouring the desert for more clues. But the earth guards its secrets well. The rest of the skeleton remains lost, swallowed by time. You are now left with the same puzzle that baffled the experts. In your mind's eye, you try to build the animal. You start with the arms, the only truth you have. You see their size, their power, the terrifying potential in those claws. The most obvious conclusion is a predator. You imagine a carnivore of unimaginable size, an apex hunter that would make T-Rex look modest. You picture it standing 40 feet tall, a true monster, using those hook-like claws to grapple with enormous prey, tearing into the thick hides of giant herbivores. For decades, this is the prevailing image of Deinocheirus, a super predator, the ultimate Cretaceous killer. It's the stuff of nightmares, a monster built by inference and imagination. But as the years pass, doubts begin to creep in. You look closer at the design of the arms. While powerful, the claws are not as sharply curved or finely pointed as those of other giant predators like the allosaurs. They seem almost blunt. Could they have been used for something else? A new image begins to form in your mind. Perhaps this wasn't a hunter at all. You picture a different kind of giant, a slower, more deliberate creature. Maybe it used these immense arms to pull down massive tree branches, stripping away leaves and fruit like a colossal ground sloth. Or perhaps the claws were for defense, a last resort against the real apex predators of its environment. Each theory is plausible, yet none can be proven. The creature remains a ghost, a collection of conflicting possibilities. Every new dinosaur discovery from around the world only deepens the mystery. The more that is learned about theropods, the group of two-legged dinosaurs Deinocheirus seem to belong to, the less sense its arms make. They are an anomaly, an evolutionary outlier. So, which was it? A killer larger than any other? A gentle, plodding giant? Or was it something else entirely? Something so strange that no one could have possibly predicted it? When the only evidence you have is a weapon, you assume its owner was a warrior. But what if you're wrong? The decades of mystery, of pure speculation, finally come to an end, not with a whisper, but with a thunderclap.
I think I'm getting a reading over there.
New teams of paleontologists returned to the Nemec
Let me check it out.
The same fossil graveyard that relinquished the original arm. And this time,
it's a
the
Deinocheirus.
desert is more generous. They find not one, but two new specimens of Deinocheirus. The breakthrough everyone had given up on is finally here.
This is incredible.
But the story takes a dramatic turn. One of the skeletons, though beautifully preserved, has been savaged not by time, but by human greed. Poachers have ripped the skull, hands, and feet from the body, smuggling them out of the country to be sold on the black market. The key to solving the riddle has been found, only to be stolen. What follows is a paleontological detective story that spans continents. You feel the desperate race against time as researchers chase down leads, following the trail of the missing bones. Finally, after years of searching, the poached fossils are located in a private collection in Europe. They are recovered and returned to Mongolia, where they belong. At long last, for the first time in 70 million years, the creature can be made whole. The team lays out the bones, fitting the recovered skull to the waiting skeleton, and the true identity of Deinocheirus is revealed. The reality is stranger, more wonderful, and more bizarre than anyone could have ever imagined. Every theory is shattered. As you look upon the complete skeleton, you see that this was no super predator. The skull is the first major shock. It's long, almost horse-like, but it ends in a broad, toothless, duck-like bill. This was a mouth built not for tearing flesh, but for dabbling in water and shoveling up vegetation. Then you look at the spine. The vertebrae rising from the back and hips are extraordinarily long, forming a tall, bony ridge. In life, this would have supported a prominent sail or a fleshy hump, giving it a profile like a gargantuan, long-armed camel. It's a feature no one predicted. The final, definitive clues come from inside the creature's gut. Within the fossilized abdominal cavity, you see a cluster of more than 1,000 smooth, polished stones known as gastroliths. These are stomach stones, swallowed to help grind up tough, fibrous plant matter, indisputable proof of a plant-based diet. But mixed in with the stones, you see something else. The tiny, fossilized scales and vertebrae of fish. The picture clicks into place. Deinocheirus wasn't a carnivore or an herbivore. It was a colossal omnivore. It used its huge size to dominate its environment, its broad beak to sift through riverbeds for plants and small animals, and those enormous arms, not as primary weapons of predation, but as versatile tools to rake in foliage, to dig, and when necessary, to defend its massive self. The 50-year-old monster was a myth. The real animal was infinitely more fascinating. The bones have told their story. The mystery is solved. Now, you can finally see the creature as it was, to witness a day in its incredible life. You are transported back 70 million years to a vast, humid floodplain in what will become Mongolia. A gentle giant, a fully grown Deinocheirus, wades through the murky, chest-deep water of a wide river channel. It stands over 15 feet tall at the hip, its strange, humped back breaking the surface like the sail of a sunken ship. Its long, elegant neck lowers a horse-like head to the water, and its broad, duck-like bill scoops and filters mouthfuls of tender water veins and unsuspecting fish. The 8-foot-long arms, draped in shaggy feathers, work methodically, raking vegetation from the riverbank or probing the muddy bottom. For a creature of such titanic proportions, at over 6 tons, it's the size of a school bus. It moves with a serene, unhurried grace. But the peace of this Cretaceous afternoon is about to be shattered. On the shore, the smaller dinosaurs scatter. A deep, guttural roar echoes from the tree line, a sound of absolute authority. You see it emerge from the shadows. A 40-foot-long Tarbosaurus, the apex predator of this continent, and a close cousin of T-Rex. Its massive head, filled with banana-sized teeth, swivels to lock onto the giant in the water. To the predator, this looks like an easy meal. A huge, slow-moving target, seemingly defenseless. The Tarbosaurus charges, crashing into the shallows with explosive force, its powerful legs churning the water into a froth. The Deinocheirus is not built for battle, but it is not built to be prey. It swings its massive body around to face the threat, letting out a deep, booming cry that is more a warning than a challenge. The Tyrannosaur lunges, jaws agape, aiming for the vulnerable neck, but the Deinocheirus drops its shoulder, and the predator's teeth glance off its bony, humped back. The sail-like structure makes for an awkward and difficult target. Annoyed, the Tarbosaurus repositions, trying to flank the giant. This is its mistake. The Deinocheirus rears up, lifting its torso from the water, and reveals the weapons that made it famous. It swings one of its colossal arms, a feathered wrecking ball tipped with 3 feet of solid bone. The blow connects with the Tarbosaurus' side, The claws are too blunt to slash deep into its flesh, but the sheer kinetic force is staggering. It's a multi-ton club swung with incredible power, knocking the predator off balance before the Tarbosaurus can recover. The other arm swings, the claws raking across its sensitive snout. The predator bellows in pain and frustration. This was supposed to be easy. Instead, it has been met with an immovable wall of flesh and bone, armed with pile drivers. Bleeding and realizing this fight will cost more energy than the meal is worth, the Tarbosaurus makes a strategic retreat. It backs away, snorting its displeasure, before turning and disappearing into the forest. The gentle giant has held its ground. It watches its enemy depart, then calmly lowers its head and returns to the quiet work of foraging. As the defeated Tarbosaurus vanishes into the ferns, the world of Deinocheirus returns to its gentle rhythm. The colossal creature, now just a peaceful giant once more, continues its slow and steady foraging. The image is a quiet defiance of the monster you and the rest of the world had imagined for 50 years. The journey to understand this animal has taken you from a sun-baked dig site in the Gobi Desert to the heart of a Cretaceous river system. From a pair of mystifying bones to a living, breathing being. You have seen how a single, incomplete clue can create a legend, and how the full truth can be infinitely more astonishing. The story of Deinocheirus is more than just the story of a strange dinosaur. It's a profound lesson in how we uncover the past. For decades, it was cast as the ultimate villain, a predator of nightmarish proportions, simply because its arms seemed to suggest it. We saw a weapon and invented a monster to wield it. But the complete picture revealed a creature that defied all our categories. It shows that nature is a far more creative engineer than our imaginations can ever be. Life in the ancient world wasn't a simple movie of heroes and villains, of hunters and hunted. It was a complex web, filled with specialists like this. A giant omnivore that carved out a unique niche for itself, thriving on a diet of both plants and fish, and using its intimidating features to deter rather than to attack. This lost giant represents the beautiful uncertainty of paleontology. It reminds us that the fossil record is a book with most of its pages missing, and each new discovery can force us to tear up the old chapters and start again. The terrible hand was never the mark of a killer, but the versatile tool of a survivor. It belonged not to a monster, but to a magnificent testament to the sheer adaptability of life, a creature that succeeded by being a jack of all trades on a titanic scale. Its legacy is a call for humility, a reminder that the truth buried beneath our feet is often stranger, more complex, and far more wonderful than we dare to dream. The story of Deinocheirus proves that some of the most fearsome-looking features can have the most peaceful purposes. In our next journey, we'll explore a dinosaur that took this principle to the absolute extreme, a creature armed with the longest claws of all time, uncovering the secrets of the incredible Deinocheirus.